Okay, this is the video I'm doing of my ram pump. I wanted to get water up to my campsite, which is probably from here vertically about 150-60 feet up from here roughly, and probably 500-600 feet horizontally. Before I did it, I knew what I wanted to do, and I did a lot of research on the internet and watched a lot of YouTube videos of people that did their own, and that helped me quite a bit in making mine. So I figured I'd do a video of my installation so that maybe that'll help somebody else wanting to do the same thing. So this is an old spring house. 150 years ago there used to be a farm here. This was all pasture. There was a house over in here somewhere. There's a barn foundation over here, and this was their spring house where they kept the milk cold and got their water from. And so I built my intake here. This is my intake for my ram pump here. 4-inch PVC pipe. This is the overflow that regulates the level of the intake. I can actually unscrew this whole pipe down to the bottom and it'll drain the whole thing out so I can clean out any sediment in there. But so here's my intake. I'm getting about 20 gallons a minute here, maybe a little bit more coming out of the spring. That feeds into my 4-inch PVC. Now this over here, this is the outflow from my overflow pipe, and you can see my PVC running. And well, I forget how many sections of pipe I got here. It's a few hundred feet from here down to where the ram pump is actually installed. And I've got about 14 feet of head between the spring and where the pump is installed. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get through here. Might lose a shoe in the mud. And it's interesting, if you get on Google Earth and look at this property from space, the most current shot they have is actually newer and it's taken in the spring. But if you go back to the previous imagery they had, it was taken in the fall when there weren't any leaves on the trees. And you can actually see this pipe between the spring and the standpipe on Google Earth on the satellite imagery. You can hear the pipe in the distance, or the pump in the distance rather. And watch out for snapping turtles. The helicopter flying over, looking for dope plants. Alright, so here's my standpipe. Let me get a little closer. Excuse me. Here's my standpipe. My water between where the spring house is and here, I've got about 12 or 13 feet ahead here. So the water, when it's not running, is within about a foot of the top of that pipe. And I've got a valve here, and then it goes to my steel drive line. I got 80 feet of 2-inch steel galvanized. And here's the actual pump itself. So this is made out of 4-inch steel. I welded it all together myself. Let me just stop it here for a second. So we've got our 2-inch drive line comes in here. 4-inch steel body, just another 2-inch piece welded here. This is a regular foot valve that you'd use for a hand pump. I took it apart, I drilled out the supporting pieces here, and I made, this is a new valve in here I made out of steel on the lathe. And this, even though it's dark, this is supposed to be a stainless steel bolt that I used to guide it here. I had a little weight on here, but we got a little dry spell and it overran my spring. It was using too much water, so I had to take the weight off, make it run a little quicker, but it used a little less water that way. And so now the spring's been keeping up with it. Another 4-inch T here. There's a check valve mounted to this plate inside here, and then this is my air chamber, and then out and up to my campsite. Like I said, I'm getting from the spring about 20 gallons a minute. Up at the campsite, I'm ending up with roughly 2 gallons a minute, more or less, something like that. And getting this valve to run was a little tricky. It took some patience, some tweaking, some playing around, getting the weights just right. And once I got it dialed in, it sits here and runs all summer long. It does wear the valves out. This has been in place here for 5, 6, 7 years, something like that. That's maybe my 3rd valve that I had to make. They do wear out. The valve inside, I haven't changed that yet. That one continues to run, although I can tell it sticks sometimes. Sometimes I got to come and mess with it to get the valve inside unstuck to make it work again. So that valve inside's wearing out. I just haven't taken the effort to go and take all those bolts out to undo the flange to change that valve inside out yet. So from here it goes up about 140 feet, maybe not quite, and horizontally maybe 350 feet, something like that. But next we'll go up and see the output. Come on, pups. Come on, Harry. Come on. Come on. Winnie. Come on, Winnie. Come on. I'll probably just fast forward most of this because it's just a pipe running along the ground going uphill, and you guys don't want to hear my huffing and puffing and breathing heavy. Probably can't appreciate the true steepness of this hill on video, but I can tell you, when you're walking up it, you definitely can. Before I get all kinds of comments about how out of breath I am, I'll have you know, I sit on my ass at a desk all day at work, and I know I'm out of shape, so I don't want to hear about it. So here's my output. This is a this is an old pump that was a lawn ornament in somebody's yard that they didn't want anymore, that I came and repurposed here just to have the water flow out of it. Doesn't do anything, there's no mechanism. This rod just ends down inside. But it's just a nice ornamental output. So that's my ram pump installation. Feel free to comment. Appreciate positive comments rather than how out of shape and what a fat slob I am and everything I did wrong on the project. But anyway, whatever. Take care. Signing off.